September the 8th, 2019. As we're just 2 days away from the peak of this hurricane season, which they're calling a backloaded season because we had so much Saharan wind and upper level wind shear and a couple other things that happened. But this system number two is it's got a 20% chance of development, and it says strong upper level winds are expected to prevent the development of the system during the next few days. But it says by midweek, environmental conditions could become more conducive for development when the disturbance reaches the southwestern Atlantic Ocean. Much warmer waters there, and the wind shear may not be as strong at that time, the upper level winds. We've been watching this system too. It's a 40% chance of development in 5 days. It's some slow development of the system is possible during the next several days while the low moves westward across the central tropical Atlantic. Now, it has a very similar path as Dorian does, guys, but coming off the African coast right behind it. I'm going to go ahead and call some problems on that one. This system is moving slow, and it could develop. Here is number two up above the Windward Islands, and it's expected to go northeast. This one is going to be moving more west. But there's a system that's moving faster than this off the African coast, guys. And you can tell that the Saharan sand layer is not as strong because you can see it east of the Cabo Verde Islands between there and Africa, tailing the storm. But this fast-moving system doesn't look like much now, but there's a lot of energy that's just coming off the coast. Here in the left is the system that has 40% chance. And here is your Saharan layer, the sand layer, guys, in the upper atmosphere. And that prohibits hurricane development because that dust absorbs moisture, which is the fuel that they need to develop. But this area coming off the coast of Africa is moving faster. And I have seen this, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe, guys, we followed a major hurricane across, and there was a low-pressure system out in front of it. But it caught it by the time it was in the Leeward Islands and developed, became a major storm. But here, we got to watch the two we have first, but I'm going to show you models from the global forecast system about the entire Atlantic. Now, this system could become trouble. It is moving, the models are showing it moving due west, and they stop about at the Leeward and Windward Islands there. So we're going to keep an eye on both of these. I know everybody's kind of storm weary, but you can't let your guard down, guys. Here is a projected path, and you got about 6 or 7, 8 models in here. Everything's pretty much going west, but it's keeping it a little further south than what we saw Dorian. And guys, again, we're going to look at the models on this, and the system that's coming off of Africa could very well catch this system, and when that happens, you could have a lot of energy that actually combine. Anyway, here's your system moving towards the Leeward Islands, but notice what came off the coast behind it. Much larger boom. There it is at the Leeward Islands. Watch it track across the Bahamas as a very large storm, very powerful, and we got a smaller one behind it. But again, there's your first system approaching the Leeward Islands, and it's there. But by the time it gets there, this system, second system, is reaching out and pulling moisture out of the system according to this model. Again, moving up very close to Dorian's path, but it's showing this storm much larger now. I don't know if it's going to be stronger as far as getting up to 185 mile per hour sustained winds, but it's much larger. And what we got to remember is these models will change, right? So we're seeing the system they're watching now get into the Leeward Islands. This system approach it, almost overtake it. That doesn't mean that the front system can't develop itself. So we're kind of up in limbo right now. But this model is showing that coming off the coast of Africa by the 10th, a very strong low pressure system that is moving fast. Again, you can back this up and check it out, guys. But I just wanted to put a heads up out there so everybody keep this in mind, what we're dealing with. We got one that could develop, 20% chance there. It looks like it would affect more of the East Coast because of the northwest pattern, and that could just bring in some rains. Could be a tropical depression, something like that. But we'll just keep an eye on the whole entire deal, guys. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. I'll keep you updated.